everybody. My name is Melissa Drisi. I'm a Fulbright scholar from Cameroon and a student at the CDE class of 2020. Today I'm here with
Eden, Sarah, Asimwe. I'm from Uganda. I'm also part of the CDE class of 2020.
today we're going to be having a very important topic, and we're going to be talking about economists.
Right. And we're just going to give you 5 things to keep in mind while engaging with an economist.
Right. So we're diving right in. Point number one. All opinions in economics are backed by evidence, be it qualitative or quantitative, that's using data. Um, all opinions in economics should be backed by evidence. Um, in everyday conversations, it's like people try to push in their opinions, and everybody's opinion is right to the person unless proven otherwise. In economics, that's not how it is. You have to inform your your opinion with some stated facts that are verifiable. And so, when engaging with an economist, it's important to keep that in mind that they'll not just boil in or swallow down um, whatever you say, but they'll want to know why. What assumptions did you put in place? What 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 are the considerations that you made when driving this particular conclusion? It's we find it fun to challenge each other's opinions, and um, I mean, it's a better way, in our opinion, to think and to govern the world, or to see things in a way that it's not emotion driven but evidence driven, right?
The second thing that's very important to us economists is not just checking the validity of your claim, but the extent of validity of your claim. So, for example, if a certain household claims that a government program that gave them mosquito nets enabled them to reduce on the malaria cases reported in that household, it could be true for them, but an economist will want to know, okay, for your household, the mosquito nets helped you reduce on the cases you report, but we want to know how about the other people, say in your home state, would other families report the same rate of change in incidence of malaria in their homes, you know? And let me say, for example, we find out that indeed the government program that gave those mosquito nets decreased malaria cases in that given household or that given homestead or that given community, then we would say it's internally valid. But it would only be internally valid to the extent that would have to assume, would want to also check that all the households that reported a decrease were actually similar. What I mean by them being similar, say for example, if some households were using mosquito nets and also spraying with some pesticides, in addition to that they are clearing the places that breed mosquitoes around their households, then we would say our estimate of the validity of the impact of those mosquito nets is biased. Why is it biased? It's because there are other factors that are also so as I was
Okay, right.
So, as I was saying, in that aspect, our estimate would be biased. So, your question could be, what can we do to eliminate that bias? Well, that one of the ways we can use to eliminate the bias in our estimate is to use randomization, but then that's a topic for another day. Back to validity. So, let's assume that we have indeed confirmed that the mosquito nets were effective to a given extent reducing the incidence of malaria in this community. As an economist, we would still want to know, okay, yes, it was internally valid for that community, but would it still be valid for a different community? So, for example, if it was internally valid for Kampala, which is the capital city of Uganda, the government would want to know if we implemented the same program in the next district, say like Moroto or Jinja, would it still yield us the same impact? Would it still be the same? Would the results be the same? So in that case, the government is seeking for the external validity of that program. So to round it all up, internal validity and external validity of any program are both very important to an economist.
So it is a general misconception that economists are more about the figures than they are about the people. Um, if you ask a random person that what does an economist care about, they'll probably tell you what interest rates, um, debt to GDP ratio, and stuff like that. But it's important to know that economics is a social science, and by the very definition of economics, we care about the people, and we only use those tools like interest rates, um, what whatever quantitative tools we use to inform the decisions that we make about the people. So our focus is on the people, not the other way around. We don't use the figures to drive people's thinking or people's lifestyle. No, we focus on people's issues, the issues that concern people, and we try to use the many tools, the many quantitative tools that we have and that the environment is familiar with to inform those tools. So that's something that is very, very important, and so that's why economists will work in almost every sphere of life. You see economists in health field, they're health economists. You
Yeah.
see economists in agriculture. You
With
see
economists.
yeah, you see economists in the defense force. You
Yeah.
see economists in the economy, and you see us everywhere because we are concerned about the people.
Yeah.
And when we talk about the economy, we are not talking about money per se. Money is a big part, but it's not just money. We are talking about the day-to-day activities that drive the growth of people in a set community, the activities that they do, their choice of their choice of probably food or trade or those kind of things. The summation of those things are the economy. And so as an economist, we are interested in the aggregate of those things. We're interested in all of those things, and not just the money part, which is more like the outcome, what everyone sees. So right, there's that important distinction to be made.
Thank you, Melissa. The other thing that I've always found really interesting when I'm talking about economic issues with my friends or family, even if they're not economic issues, they usually tell me, Eden, why can't you just say yes or no? But
Right.
it's never yes or no in economics. Our answer always is it depends. For example, if you ask me, okay, so how much salt should I put in your food, in the food I'm cooking, I'll say it depends on who are you cooking for. If it's a diabetic person, you probably shouldn't put a lot of salt, or if any salt anyway. So if, say for example, you're asking me how much water should I want to water my plants, how much water should I pour, I'll ask you it depends on the kind of plant, it depends on when you last watered it. So the answer for an economist always is it depends. Yeah, so it always depends on something. There's no black or white, it always depends on something.
Right. Thank you for that. I mean, because it's important that you know that you don't just ask us, right? How tall should my child be?
Yeah.
How anyways. So the fifth and the last point that we're going to be making in this video is when thinking about an economist, the general picture is what an old man with a twisted briefcase with a face bowed down, um, he's sad about everything happening around him, and he's just counting figures with a big old calculator and stuff like that. But no, an economist can be ladies like us, seated here in beautiful weather, smiling at you, and just talking about life. And that's a general misconception that people have, that, well, the gender stereotypes around economics, the age structure around who should and should not contribute to economic issues. And we are telling you otherwise, because we are two young economists from Africa, and it's our desire, we are working towards it, to change this world using the tools and the mindset that we have as economists. So right there, guys, those are the 5 things that you should keep in mind when dealing with an economist. 1, all our opinions are evidence-based. 2,
To what extent are your claims valid?
3,
We really do care about people, actually. Economists care about people.
okay, right, so let's take it back. Okay, these so guys, we have come to the end of this video, and our take-home message are the 5 things you should keep in mind when thinking of or talking to an economist. 1, all our opinions are backed by evidence.
Secondly, we want to know to what extent your claims are actually valid.
3, we actually care about the people, and we use our techniques and tools to inform our decisions about the people.
4, our answer always is, it depends.
And 5, economists can be anybody, regardless of age, gender, location, whatever. Economists can be you,